Greetings. Hey, it's Damian Mason. Thanks for joining me here on the Do Business Better podcast. Got a brief little post-Labor Day episode for you with some ideas and some thoughts that you can use to move forward with your business and be successful. Okay, being successful, requires a fortitude. It requires conviction, belief in yourself, a confidence that you can make things happen and succeed even when the chips are down. And trust me, if you run your own business, you will have times when the chips are down. There's going to be times to move forward. I talk a lot about reinventing. You're going to have to change up your offering, change what you sell, what your product is, evolve with the marketplace. As I always point out, there was a company that made one hell of a nice phone booth back in the day, and guess what? Nobody needs a phone booth anymore. So we've got to always be adjusting, adapting, but I want to cover a topic that seems simple, but it's actually a little harder than you might think, and that is to understand the principle that people will say they want lots of things. People will say they want lots of things. You're saying, Damian, that's the episode? Yes, that's the episode. We're going to talk about that very topic, and I'll tell you why. Because we all work for other people. Every dollar you're going to make for the rest of your life is someone else's dollar right now. So if that's the case, it's going to come from people. People are where the dollars come from, right? Customers, clients, those that we serve. So in 26 years of running my own enterprise and all the different things that I've done and sold in my different, professional life, I have always understood that, yes, you've got to listen to your customers, and yes, you have to listen to the marketplace. However, be very cautious about survey results. You see, people will say they want lots of things. But when it comes to actually putting their dollar down and making that decision or making that choice to give you the money, they maybe are not going to put their money where their mouth is, okay? Give you a couple examples. If you did a survey and said, I'm going to create this crappy tasting liquor that almost makes you vomit, would you like to buy that? Well, of course not. But there is the stuff called Jägermeister. I used to work in the bar business, and we sold crap loads of Jägermeister. It's disgusting. Would a marketplace tell you they want Jägermeister? Probably not. Would a marketplace tell you, would a consumer survey tell you that they want and will buy whatever your next product or venture is? So you see, what we end up doing is a lot of times we say, okay, have you done any research into that? Well, yeah, because you got to do a little research. I get it. You got to look at the marketplace. But again, be very cautious when it comes to saying, I'm going to roll out this new product, this new company, I'm going to start a new business, and it's going to do this because several of my friends told me that they wanted that. Well, some of your friends also have told you they want to lose weight. But do they really? Because if they did, they'd stop eating and go exercise. They probably said they want to save more money. But if they really wanted to save more money, they would just stop spending money and work harder at making more. You see, people say they want lots of things, but are they actually going to take the action to do what they say they want done? That's the problem. So when we run our own business, we don't have within us, and I talk about this in my book, Do Business Better, that large corporations have the luxury of money in their war chest to spend on all sorts of things. So they say, we're going to go out and spend $1 million on a market survey to find out what it is that our customers want. Now, you're probably not in a position to do that with your business. You probably can't spend that money. So yes, it's important to take feedback and to listen to the marketplace. But again, be very cautious about what folks tell you they will do. I live in a small town half the year, and I live half the year in Arizona. And so half the year I live outside of Huntington, Indiana. It's one of those places where I'm sure that there are people that say there's not enough to do, right? There's nothing to do in this small town. But if you gave them the opportunity to do something, would they actually do it? We hear this kind of thing all the time. Well, I wish we had a gym because there's just no place to work out, and that's why I'm not fit. And then you give them a gym, and then it turns out there's another excuse. You see, folks will always put their action and their effort into what really matters to them. They'll always actually put their money down on things they care about. Just because they say they want to do something, they say they want one of your services, or they say they want your product, tread very lightly, because there's a very good opportunity that you'll end up offering them something that they will not want. So you're saying, all right, Damian, what the hell am I supposed to do? I got to listen to the marketplace. Rather than listening to the survey, actually gauge their behavior. Actually gauge what you see people doing. So this is point number one. Actually watch them and watch what their activity is. That's more telling than what they say their activity is. Remember, lots of folks say they do things. 42% of America says they exercise, or this many people say they save money. Whatever. Are they really doing it? Because the proof is in the pudding. Number two thing, keep up with a variety of sources. Watch everything. Learn from everything. Beware of getting your information from one source. The old thing, everything I learned in my country club. You know what I'm talking about? That's an old saying about like the rich people that don't understand. They think they understand humanity, but they really don't. Everything I know I learned in my country club. Okay, be careful about getting all your information from one source. Check a variety of sources. Be an observer, and also force yourself to look at information that comes from a newspaper, a different TV station than you normally watch. And also, when you ask your customers or your clients for feedback, look a little deeper than just the general, yeah, that sounds great, I'd do that, and say, well, how much would you spend? Ask them that second and third question. Okay, if I offered this, how much would you pay? And then, of course, say, well, great, I'd like to sign you up ahead of time. And now you've actually got a built-in customer. That's the number three thing. Number four thing, if you're really going to do this, if you're really going to launch some new thing, offer some new product or service, at some point you have to have in the gut. You've got to then at some point say, I've checked the marketplace. I truly believe there's a need for this. I believe I'm the right person to offer this. Our company we are the right ones to put this out there. And then, by God, go with your gut. And you know what? It's not saying you should lose millions. It's not saying you should stick with something that's a dud, but stick with it long enough that you gave it a fair shake. Because, again, there's a lot of companies that put out products that nobody ever would have said, yeah, I'll buy it, and they are successful. Flip side, there are a bunch of products that are put out there because surveys and market analysis says this is exactly what we need, and they don't go anywhere. So at some point, go with your gut and then stick with it long enough to know if it really works. I always tell everybody, 1994, nobody would have said quit your corporate job and dress up like Bill Clinton. That could be a business. But that's how I started things out in 1994. People say they want lots of things. Be very cautious about offering and going in ass over backwards on your business to offer something that you have been told the marketplace wants. At some point, you've got to actually look at where their activity is, what they're really doing, and then you can decide if indeed it is necessary. But remember this, there are no guarantees. There's lots of products that have failed that the marketplace surveys said they were going to probably buy, and they did not. At some point, you got to go with your gut. Remember that we all work for other people. The best thing that I do is I look at my business from my client's eyes, and that's the best thing you can do. And when I'm looking at bringing out something new or a new offering, I look at it from my client's perspective and say, what would they want? What would they want? What do they need? And what do they see when they look at me as the person to offer that? It's your short post-Labor Day episode. Be careful, be wary, because folks will say they want lots of things. Be a little deeper than that and look at what they really are spending their money on, because where people spend their money and their time is what they value. And you want to be at that intersection of where money and time is being spent on your product. Damian Mason, thanks for joining me here for the Do Business Better podcast.